Hey, it's Liza Lawrence here with my mini message, episode 153. The healing journey is miraculous. Before I jump into my message, I just want to say that today is the last episode for season 4. It's been a great season. I just want to say thank you to all my guests for sharing your miracles with us. And I want to thank all you listeners who have been with me over the years, who also love God and love celebrating his presence in your lives. Thank you for this amazing opportunity to share miracles. I also wanted to make, before I jump into my message, another announcement for the upcoming Color of Hope Festival in Eastern Idaho. This is the first annual Color of Hope Festival that's coming to Rexburg on June 25th. This festival will serve as a fundraising effort in partnership with the nonprofit organization Dahlia's Hope to bring aftercare therapies and other services for sex trafficked survivors in Eastern Idaho. This event will be a fun, uplifting way for families to be actively engaged in combating human trafficking. From a color run to a chalk art competition to vendors and incredible performers, the day will be laced with hope, laughter, dancing, and color. Visit colorofhopefest.com for more information. You can make a difference in the lives of human trafficking survivors by participating in this first ever Color of Hope Festival. So I hope to see you there on June 25th at Porter Park in Rexburg, Idaho. And let's help make a difference. So on to my message this week, which is hope and healing. And it's really more about the miracle of a healing journey. So as I prayed about my message this week and reflected on my guest message from last week about Dahlia's Hope and this Color of Hope Festival, I felt impressed to share a little bit about my own healing journey and what I've learned from God in the process of healing. So many of you don't know much about my story, but I have some sexual assault trauma in my childhood. And as painful as that was, I am grateful because it's what gave me the desire to seek help and healing and peace. These events invited me to dig deep into the healing journey through life. And I don't claim to have your answers for your healing journey, but for me, it had to start with acknowledgement, validation, grief, and then ultimately forgiveness and allowing divine love to enter in, which was a whole process in and of itself. So I'm going to share a personal experience that I had in my healing journey miracle. I had had 2 children. I had had 3 miscarriages, and we were currently trying to get pregnant. And I knew that I needed to do some healing work, not just physically to get my hormones to balance, to hold on to a pregnancy, but also emotionally, because I know that there's a deep connection between our emotional well-being and trauma in the body and psyche with our physical health. And so I had gone on this journey of processing a lot of my emotional trauma and my beliefs and the things that were keeping me stuck and that were causing imbalances in my physical body. So I had been doing this work, but one day I was determined to be complete, that this work of forgiveness and healing would be complete. I decided to pray and not stop praying until I had felt a complete release of the pain that my body had stored in my lifetime. And not just with sexual assault, but with a lot of different pains that I had experienced in life. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the value of struggle, and there's great growth in struggle. And I see this as part of that process of understanding that there was so much struggle that I needed to also grow out of and heal from. So I spent one afternoon for hours praying and praying and praying and begging God and said, I have done my work. I've done my part in the processing of emotions and the events in my life that have caused me pain. Please now help me finish the healing process. I truly begged God to do the rest of the work. I had done my part. Please do your part in the complete healing. You know, it was a mighty prayer of, God, you have to help me in this. And I know you can. And I know that I can receive your divine healing. And something miraculous happened. In my sobbing, begging, crying moment of desperation for God's intervention and healing, I felt a tangible substance and energy, if you will, flow down through my whole body system. And it was the most nurturing, divine love that I've ever experienced. And I felt my heart like unlock and open up. And I could spiritually see, but I could feel all of the pain and all of the sadness and all of the anger and all of the bitterness, but all that heaviness that I had carried around in my life just disappear. It just flooded out and moved out of my system and inflowed this divine, miraculous love. It was the most magical experience and miraculous experience I've ever had with a divine energy flowing through me. Now, I meditate and I feel a lot of spiritual things, but this was incredibly healing. And in that moment, as I just received the grace of God, I could feel the completeness in my healing process. And I felt whole and I felt well and I felt seen and I felt loved. And my understanding expanded and I grew in incredible ways. I was able to get pregnant after that and did have 2 more babies and haven't had major hormonal problems since then. But I was so grateful to have that miraculous healing moment with God that truly changed my life and healed my heart. And that experience shifted my entire path in the future. And I've since studied different healing modalities, gone on lots of healing journeys with God's help. And I remember another moment in time that really taught me a deep lesson about healing. So I had experienced this miraculous healing in my own life, and it was an emotional healing. Yes, it did affect my physical body. But I remember one day I was having a discussion with my husband, and I was inviting him to participate in some of the tools, the healing tools that I had learned, in hopes that he might also have some of the same positive results that I had experienced in my life. And I love my husband, but he was resisting my invitation. And as I was trying to convince him that I was right and he was wrong, I felt a very clear impression that a spiritual message was trying to come through to me. So I paused the conversation with my husband and I got really still so that I could discern the message. And honestly, I truly thought the message was going to be the exact words to tell him, to convince him that he needed to do what I was suggesting in order to heal from his past pain in his life and level up. I really thought it was going to be, say this to him, that will tell him what to do. But instead, the message I heard was, be patient with him. He will do it differently than you. His journey is not your journey. I received that message and I apologized to my husband for me not honoring his own journey through life. And it was such a beautiful experience for me because it taught me that God works with us individually. And there will be some things that work for me that won't work for someone else, and things that work for someone else that won't work for me. And the beauty of healing and the healing journey is that the Lord can guide you step by step to the resources that will be for you. I really believe that's why we have so many healing therapies and healing modalities, is because everybody needs something that might be different than someone else. Another message I got a few years after this is to love and allow. And what that meant for me and means for me that I always have to remind myself is one of the best things I can do for people when they are on a healing journey or as we're struggling and journeying through life, that my job is to love them, to support them, and to allow them the processes that they need to go through. Don't do it for them. Allow them to become who they are through their own journey. Love and allow. Don't judge. And even yourself, it's important as we're in a healing process and a healing journey not to judge the process. Just allow it to unfold with grace, with compassion, with patience. And then you will see the miracles that take place in that healing journey. If you are currently in the healing process, hang in there. God sees you, He knows you. You will eventually find peace. Jesus tells us this in John chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. As we yoke ourselves with Christ and unify our lives with Him and use Him and His divine grace in our healing process and in our journey through life and through our struggle, we can experience all that He promised us: joy, love, peace, and we will receive it more abundantly because of the hard things that we've had to overcome through the process. So, some questions to ponder. Where have you been on a healing journey? Have you seen miracles and God involved in that healing journey? As we wrap up season 4, I just want to say thank you again for all of your love and support. And I'm so grateful to have heard and shared all of these beautiful miracle stories with you. And I wish you all peace and love through your healing journey as you go through the miracle of life. And I'll talk to you next season, season 5, when we resume in September. Hope you have a lovely summer. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.